We are going to be creating a loom today for our weaving project from a cardboard roll and 5 popsicle sticks. So we want the popsicle sticks to come over the top about a 1/2 inch. So we're going to need some masking tape to get these to stick. I'm going to start by taping towards the top where the popsicle stick's coming over the edge. And we're going to kind of try to space these out as best as we can so that there's 5 around the paper towel roll. So you might need to help a friend with this because it almost helps to have 3 or 4 hands. So I'm lightly just taping right now, making sure they're all coming about the same amount over the edge. Have to have 5. When we weave, it's important to have an odd number. So I've kind of run out of tape. I'm going to need a little bit more tape. And if you notice, these 5, none of them are touching. They're all kind of spaced really nicely, and they're all about the same height at the top. Now I'm going to tape more. So I'm going to put another row of tape right around that same place I was taping. And I'm also going to tape at the bottom closer because otherwise these might pop off. So again, help a friend out. Partner up at your table. Those are on there pretty good. I'm going to write my name on the tape. Okay, now we're ready to get yarn. Boys and girls, this is our yarn station. And the yarn station will have a couple of different baskets. The black basket is only coming out of one side, where the circle baskets you might have to pull or twist, or you can even use the other side of the station to get yarn from. So most of our projects will start with an arm's length of yarn. So I want to show you what that looks like. An arm's length is when you stretch your arms, both arms, all the way out. So if I'm going to use yellow, I am pulling gently just from where this yellow is coming out of the basket, and I'm pulling with it pinched on this far hand, and I'm pulling so that my arms are stretched all the way, and I'm going to cut the yarn close to the basket, not right by it, but I want to leave just a little tail. If we have really long tails coming from the baskets, we're probably going to get a lot of tangles. Some kids pick colors and then decide they don't want to use it. So if that happens to you, please bring the yarn string that you're not using back to the station. As you can see, I have quite a collection started. So if you want to shop for yarn here first, these pieces are all an arm's length, and you could use any of these colors first. Please be respectful of the station and take care of it because a lot of kids have to use it. When I come back to my table spot with my yarn that's an arm's length away, I'm going to start by dropping one of the tails of yarn down through the tube. So it's going to come out the other end. Just a little tail is all you need. And I am going to wrap the yarn around the popsicle sticks. So around means almost all the way around, and then I'm going to go to the next one. And you see how I made a little loop there? I'm also trying to pull right now down here as I'm doing this with my other hand. See how I like wrap it and pinch it? Just so that my yarn is staying a little tighter. So I wrap around that stick. I'm coming through the inside of the tube. So I'm not outside, I'm inside the tube, and I wrap. I bring it inside the tube and I wrap. Next door and I wrap. So I'm just going around the circle, and when I do that I've made kind of a pentagon shape, if you can see that, with the 5 sides. Now I'm pretty good leaving this tail here, it's pretty tight. I'm going to slide these down a little bit closer to the tube, and now I'm going to start a second row. So I'm going to do that same thing around each popsicle stick. I kind of use this pointer finger to hold it here as I wrap it. So I'm going to do this all the way around 2 times. See how each popsicle stick has 2 rows? When I'm doing this, I'm kind of just rotating the tube around to get to every popsicle stick. So it's still making that same pattern. It looks like 2 pentagons right now. Now, before I can do another row, I have to loop this bottom row over the second row. I'm going to do this on all 5 popsicle sticks. As I'm doing that, it's kind of pulling up, so I'm going to remember to push this down to stay close to the tube. Bottom row over the top of the first row, and I push down. Bottom row over the top, and I push down. So I like to do all 5, and then I can start my next row. So I'm taking my long string, and I'm going to repeat. So I'm going to go around the popsicle sticks, all 5. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. So before I can go on, I'm going to have to loop those. And when it pops up, I just try to be careful to push that yarn back down closer to the tube. Because as I pull this over the top, the whole thing kind of likes to move. That yarn frayed a little bit, that's no biggie. I'm going to keep repeating this over and over. So I did all 5. Now I'm ready to wrap again. And as I wrap, I'm really making sure I'm on the inside of the tube. If you go on the outside, you're not going to get that pentagon shape. I was going to try to show you, but it's hard. See how it's sticking outside? That's not going to work. I want to stay inside and bring it across to the next one inside. So I'm just going in a circle as I'm wrapping. Now I'm ready to pull over. So I'm going to keep going. As I'm going, this cord is going to come down through the bottom, and it's going to be super long as we keep weaving every day, and it's going to look awesome. So I have a second one started here, and I wanted to show you what happens when you run out of yarn. When you run out of yarn, you get to go back to the yarn station and cut another arm's length of yarn. It can be the same color or it could be a different color. But I want to show you how to connect these 2 pieces. So there's 2 ways. You can take this end, and you want to make sure you have a long enough end, so I wouldn't want to keep wrapping until I have barely any end left. I have a couple inches here, and now I have my new arm's length of yarn. I'm going to make an X with them like I'm crisscrossing my shoes. I'm going to bring one of them around and over. So I kind of twisted them, just like I'm starting to tie my shoes. Then I would make my loop and bring a tail through my loop. Now right here I have 2 ends, 4 ends actually. My 2 short ones and my 2 long ones, and I'm going to pull them all at the same time to get my knot. I think that's tricky. So I have created a shortcut. I'll show you the shortcut. I call this one a balloon tie. So I'm just cutting this apart to show you the other way. Now I've got a really short end. If I take the 2 ends side by side and I wrap them around my 2 fingers that I would give the peace sign with, so I go over the top and around, just like I'd tie the end of a balloon. I take these short tails, stick them through my fingers, and pull. I've just knotted these 2 together a little faster. Now I'm ready to keep weaving. So I ended right here. I'm going to wrap just like I was before, making sure I'm on the inside, making sure I'm seeing that pentagon shape. It's coming undone. Again, so if it's happening to me, it might happen to you. No biggie. When that knot comes into play, so when I see that knot there, I'm just going to ignore it. We can trim those or tuck them in later. Alright, so I've wrapped all the way around, and then I'm going to repeat that process, pulling that second row over the first row. Not caring about that tail there. You know what I did? I missed this one, so I'm going to have to go back a little bit, but you kind of get the idea. If you have mistakes, help a friend out. If you have oopses, help a friend. I will come around and help as best as I can, but there's only one of me, so if you can help each other out, that's going to make this project easier.